Hey everyone, happy Tuesday, and Coach Megan here for anyone who is new. Welcome to this episode of the Powerhouse Podcast. And by the way, if you have never watched us on YouTube, why not add some 3D to your Powerhouse Podcast life? Can't promise I always have makeup on, because if you know me, if you know, you know. Can promise you apparently though that I had Chick-fil-A sauce on my desk at all times. So that's also an if you know, you know kind of situation. Fun fact that no one asked about. A couple years ago, one of my vocal students literally custom made me my Chick-fil-A order that I order all the time and engraved it, like got it monogrammed, and it was like a birthday present to me. And she made this chicken nugget shirt. It was so hilarious. And I'll never forget, my husband found that in my closet one day and was like, "Do explain." So I love Chick-fil-A. In fact, I love a lot of convenience food, but trying to be a health girly. So anyways, today we are talking about when is the right time to start preparing for my pageant. And if you haven't gone yet, make sure that you click the link in the bio in the description and you can get our free pageant course. We have, hundreds of you guys at this point. I think we're over 300 this week who have enjoyed that and added some new modules there. Something else really exciting that we added this week is we added 25 testimonials of people that we've worked with that have won. So go check that out. It'll be a super big blessing to you. And we have a lot of the content in there that normally is paid content and it won't be there forever. So make sure that you capitalize on that. So let's talk about it. When is the right time to prep for a pageant? I hear a lot, is 9 months too late? Is 12 months too early? Is 3 months too late? And the best advice that I can give you is that today is always the best day to do everything. I'll never forget in my leadership journey, all the scariest moments of when I was standing at the edge of a proverbial cliff, if you will. And either the first time in my business when I invested in a mentor and I had no money, I put on a credit card, and then I had to go back and work at a coffee shop. Go back and work at a breakfast place. I started at a coffee shop. Actually, I brought one of my intensive clients by there the other day, and I was like, "Hey, this is where Powerhouse was born." And she was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so cool." I went back and worked at a breakfast place. I lasted about a month, maybe 2 months, because I just knew it wasn't my calling, but I needed the cash so badly. And I remember it kicked my butt in gear where I was like, man, I got to do whatever it takes. I got to do whatever it takes for my dream. And so the answer to your question of when is the right time to start prepping for a pageant, if winning your pageant is your dream, my question to you would be, how awful would it feel if you needed 3 more days of preparation to win your pageant and you didn't start early enough? Or you needed 2 more weeks of hitting the gym, practicing, your interview stuff. Or you needed 2 more months, 3 more months of development. Because the mind can only develop so quickly. So the first thing that we work on with everybody is mindset. It's the first phase of our process because it took you anywhere from 16 to 50 years to get to who you are, where you are, and how you think. And you come to the table with everything from self-confidence, limited mindsets, to money mindsets, to the kind of action that people take depending on how you were raised, who you hang out with, who you associate with. There's so many factors that make you the person that you are. That is why it is so interesting to me when people come to me and they're like, this coach gave me such a one-size-fits-all approach. And I'm like, how? Literally how? Human beings are different. Everyone is so different, right? So even though we have an amazing roadmap, we have a 5-step process of here are the 5 mile markers that when we interviewed 20 of our clients, they all did 100 different things to be successful, 20 of our most successful clients. But they all did 100 things, but they all did these 5 things. And so we've built these 5 things into our program to make sure that every single one of our clients has these 5 outcomes. And we know that when they accomplish these 5 outcomes, amazing things happen. And they typically place higher or win their pageant. But beyond that too, what's really cool, and I just got off the phone with a client right before this, what's really cool is the non-pageant wins too. I got off the Zoom call with a client who I was reminding her, I was like, dude, when you first came to us, you could not speak 2 sentences together without auditing yourself, because she was so self-critical and so afraid, almost like a puppy that had been like abused or something. That's dramatic. But like, when like a puppy is just really scared because they had something bad happen to them and you're like, hey, you're totally safe. Like, just run around, play, be a puppy, right? I see clients sometimes where they have had so much negative verbal feedback, or they give themselves such negative verbal feedback, they're caught in this criticism cycle that, and here's the other thing, criticism mixed with inaction is probably the worst mental cocktail that exists. Criticism mixed with inaction is the worst mental cocktail that exists. Seriously, you guys, like, the best way, you're going to hear me say this 4 billion times, certainty comes from action, right? Confidence comes from certainty. So of course, it's like the devil's scheme to try to get you stopped. Because if we're even like puttering at 1 mile an hour, we can push that sucker. But once you get completely stopped, how many of you guys know, like, if I take 1 day off the gym, I can typically go back the next day. But every day that I haven't gone to the gym, that I then need to motivate myself to feel like I'm totally like restarting this habit, it's 10 times harder. It's way harder. Can I get an amen? Right? So we want to address that with every area of our life, which is why I always say the time is now. Like, we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. Tomorrow is literally not promised, especially during an election year. Can I get an amen? Right? Like, we have no idea what is happening. But anyways, going back to that story, I'll close that loop. So this girl's competing this weekend, this client of mine, and she was just talking about how confident that she was. And I was reminding her of all the action that she's taken. And I was like, I'm not surprised you're confident. She was like, what? I was like, yeah, you should be confident. Look at all these things you've done. And I was like, you did this, you took this action. You bet on yourself. You took a risk. Like, you invested financially. All these things are telling your brain you're worth it. You're going to do great. You're worthy of great things. This time it's going to be different, because your actions tell your subconscious, hey, we're moving in a different direction, and that creates certainty. So when is the right time to start prepping for a pageant? Always now. Always now. Now, does that mean that you are practicing 12 hours a week? No. But what do you need to do to make sure that that boat is at least still idling? And by idling, ironically, the definition of the word idle is to like be stuck and stay still. But that's not what I mean. Idling is like when you can hear the of the motor, right? Like the motor is on. We are engaged. We are in the boat. And at any time, I'm ready to drive forward, right? Or boat analogy, maybe let's say that boat is just comfortably at a couple miles an hour, right? We're not doing anything crazy. Like, we're not going on 50,000 miles an hour on a speedboat. Or maybe you are, right? Because we all have different timelines for things. Here's the second thing. How do I know when it's the right time? How much work do you have to do? Like, if you did not place in the top 15 last year, what are you doing waiting? What are you doing? Like, that should scare you, because you have work to do. If you did not make at least the top 20, the top 15, you have a crap ton of work to do. And let's just be honest about that. So why would you wait till later and kick the can down the road and give yourself less time to make the necessary improvements to get to the placement that you want, which is probably winning? So homegirl, if you are going to skip 15 placements this year, that is not nothing, okay? You got work to do. So are you going to do that by yourself, or are you going to get to work? Okay. Now, this is the power of coaching, because for so many of you guys, you are so faithful to watch our YouTubes and listen to our podcast every week, which I am so grateful. And you've downloaded our free course, and I'm grateful. And that's awesome. But wouldn't it be way more efficient to have someone help you? I had an amazing client the other day. She actually gave me this analogy. She sold herself. It was amazing. She was like, I kind of see it like you're playing basketball. This girl is 19, by the way, and joined the academy. She's a freaking boss. So shout out. You know who you are. Shout out. Spent like barely has an income. And she's like, oh yeah, I'm investing in this. I'll make it work. Like, the mindset, just incredible. I was like, you know what? And you're going to do well. This is going to open a door in your life because you took this action. You're literally giving yourself permission to win in other ways. It's just like, love it. So cool. My 18 and 19-year-olds are crushing some of the older ladies right now. I'm just saying, okay? I got some other 18-year-olds and I'm like, you better watch out, because a lot of people don't even know they're competing. And I'm like, they're about to blow these other people away. And it's like their first year in Miss. I'm like, don't sleep on these young girls. Someone else is outworking you. Like, while you are waiting for the perfect time, these girls are outworking you and they're putting their pedals to the metal and you're just sitting on your laurels. And they're like, well, can I wait 3 months or can I do this by myself? And I'm like, you can do whatever you want. It's a free country, 100%. Get down on your bad self. But if your goal is to win, is that the smartest thing to do? I don't think so. I say this all the time. It costs between $5,000 and $10,000 minimum to compete at a state pageant every year. If you do it for less, congrats to you. You probably wore all the same wardrobe. But $5,000 to $10,000 a year just to be there, just to fail massively, it costs $5,000 to $10,000. So when you think about investing in a coach, a few $1,000s, so that you don't have to compete 5 more times, 3 more times. Like, let's just say 3 more times. Minimally, you're saving $15,000. Maximally, you're saving $30,000. Like, what? That's like a year of a private university. That was like a year of my college. It's probably like $50,000 now. It's crazy, right? So we're always going to have more expenses. We're always going to have a million reasons to say no to what is actually best for you. But everything is perspective. The one reason of why you should say yes is that your dreams are important to you, or else you wouldn't be striving for them year after year. And if you want to position yourself in the best place to win, why would you not do everything that you could? Which includes starting now, working on things now. And here's the other thing. If this is the most important priority in your life, you should be asking yourself every day, how can I move every other boulder standing in the way of me and this dream out of my way? How? Not if, how? How do I shove? How do I get stronger mentally, physically, practically? What do I need to do to shove every possible boulder out of my way to make this dream happen for me? Because if you really want it and this really matters to you, that's what people do. They figure it out. Okay? I just found out yesterday that baby girl's probably going to come a week or 2 early, and without going into all the details. Moms listening, you know what that means, right? They're checking for different things. And so yesterday I call my husband and I'm like, hey, honey, you're not having a child in 4 to 5 weeks. You're having a child in 2 to 4 weeks. And it was, you know, I feel like I've been ready forever because I'm the one carrying the child and I feel her every day, right? But for a husband, he was like, whew, 2 weeks. That's a lot different than 4 weeks. 4 weeks still feels like it's kind of fake. 2 weeks feels like it's yesterday, right? And there's an urgency that comes when you make something real to you. I'm here to tell you that some of you guys have not gotten to that point where you've even allowed yourself to envision the possibility that this could really happen for you. And so what's happening is you're self-sabotaging along the way, putting other things, saying, oh, well, this comes first, this comes first, this comes first, as opposed to saying, this is my dream. I'm going to believe that this is possible for me. What do I have to do to make this dream happen? What do I have to do? When I was competing for Miss USA, I was running Powerhouse. It was COVID. And things were expensive. You know, a lot of things were shut down. I was still coaching clients, but Miss America was completely shut down. So that was a whole stream of income that was gone. That was a really interesting time for a million reasons, right? And I remember at one point I had a really low month where the world was completely shut down. I couldn't go knocking on sponsors' doors. I couldn't do appearances. It was really hard. And I remember my bank account was extremely thin and I had bills to pay. And I sat there and I prayed and I said, Lord, I need you to give me an idea that I can take action on so that I can pay for the things that I need to pay for. I had, I think, $1,000 or $2,000 in expenses for Miss USA still. And I had like a month or 2 coming up. And instead of sitting in my pity, I said, okay, this is my dream. How are we going to make this happen? Because that's what leaders do. When they have the opportunity in front of them, they've already made the decision that they are going to get from here to there. Now it's just a matter of how. And so often people will come at success or pageantry with a fixed mindset. And until you get rid of that fixed mindset, you guys, you're going to continue to bump up against that next stair step, that next rung on the ladder, that next thing that God absolutely has for you and is possible for you, but you're the blockade. And what is so sad about that is then people will go years and years of their life around the same mountain, kicking the can down the road. And here's the really sad thing. Can I be honest with you? Then people start to say, I guess I was just never meant to be Miss Nebraska. I guess this wasn't God's plan for me. When I'm over here being like, no, you know what? You need to take ownership. You didn't do everything that it took. When it got hard, you retreated back to your comfort zone as opposed to saying, how can I make this work? How are we going to make this dream a reality? Because I believe that God put this passion in my heart to serve people in this way, to impact people in this way. God's given me a voice, a message. I went through too dang much to get to this place, to only get to this far. And if that dream is still in your heart and that desire is still in your heart of what you want to become and the prize package or the scholarship with it, all the things, then guess what? Leaders figure it out because your dream is important to you. Here's an example. I have a lot of clients that are nurses because they love to help people, right? And they're great people. So if nursing school is too expensive, do you just not go? Or do you say, okay, let's check. Can I get scholarships? Can I work 2 jobs? Can I get a student loan, right? Your brain immediately starts to go into let's work it out mode because you have decided, you have visualized, you have set firm that you are going to be a nurse, right? So some of you today need to make a decision. Are you Miss State or not? Are you? Make up your mind. Decide that you are her. When I was competing, I visualized every aspect of becoming Miss Nebraska USA and Miss Nebraska. And if you've listened to other podcasts, y'all know I did not do that for Miss USA and Miss America because I really didn't want it. Like if I'm being honest, I said I wanted it. My actions didn't back it up. And so I did not get the result. Didn't deserve the result, by the way, like at all. I had a great time, at Miss America at least, Miss USA, whole other story, but I didn't really want it. And how do I know? Because the litmus test is always action. Don't tell me you want something and then do something else because you're lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself. But if you want it, then that's amazing. And that's a beautiful, wonderful, fantastic thing. Decide that you are her. Decide that you are her today. Decide that this is for you. And then allow your actions and your life to build around the fact that you have made this end goal your end goal. And come hell or high water, you're getting there and you're going to figure it out, right? Like so many people will stop. Like it's darkest before dawn, right? So many people, and I'll just say in business, for example, like I can't tell you how many times my husband and I have almost quit or wanted to quit because we had like a low month or again, just walking through cancer and being pregnant and running 2 businesses and starting a church in the same month. That was November. That was November, right? Yeah, and I had like more businesses at the time. So that was a lot, right? And I could have just been like, you know what, screw this. I'm done. I'm done pouring into people. I'm done giving this my all. I'm just going to go get a job. It would have way more safety. It'd be way wiser. It would be way more security. But was that God's plan for my life? No. Heck no. It was a big, giant, fiery dart of the enemy trying to stick doubt and fear because that's the enemy's only moves. Like condemnation, fear, doubt, shame. Those are pretty much the enemy's moves. Self-criticism, telling you that you're not who you say you are. That's pretty much his playbook. He's not omnipotent. He's not omniscient. He's not even really eternal because Jesus is going to defeat him when he comes back. So he's a freaking wuss. Don't let his lies beat you. You are stronger than that, right? For example, business example. This may not make sense. This may go over. You guys are very smart. I'm believing you're going to understand this. Great. I'm going to believe the best. It's going to be awesome. So in the coaching world, okay, the coaching world specifically, there are stair steps of revenue, right? So you start your company, 0 to 10K, you're rocking and rolling. Usually takes people a while to get there because it's all one-on-one manual effort. You're grinding it out. You're doing every single part of your business. You're the admin, you're the operator, you're the salesperson, you're the marketer, you're the coach, you're the client success team, you're the fulfillment, you're everything, right? And it's a really beautiful season because A, you have to start the business, which takes courage. Then you have to get your first client, which takes courage, which takes knowledge, which takes positioning, respect, all those kinds of things. Then you grow your clientele, which means you have to get results. You have to fight through disappointment. You work through chargebacks. You work through a customer that doesn't win, right? Whatever, right? There's a lot of mental stuff that happens between 0 and 10K in a business. Then you kind of have the next stair step, which is like 10K to 20 or 30K a month, which sounds like a lot. And again, very grateful for that. I'll never forget when I just made my first 10K and I was like, this is $100,000 business. Like I have a 6-figure business. This is so amazing, right? And then from there, I added team members, which adds expenses, right? Several $1,000s a month per person because you want to pay people well. And you have advertising expenses and you have software expenses and you have all these things. And all of a sudden you've gotten to 20K a month, but it feels exactly the same as 10K a month because you have 10K in expenses. And that's normal. And that's exactly how it should be. But as a business owner, you're feeling stretched a little bit. If I was like an inchworm or I had a ponytail holder, okay, I'm stretched because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm making 20K a month, but I have all these expenses. 10K is flying out of my account every month. Well, thoughts are coming. Well, should I just fire everybody and go back to 10K and I can just, right? These thoughts come. Oh, it was easier at 10K. I should just go back here and well, was it? Because you hired staff to help you with your weaknesses for a reason. It's definitely not easier. It's just more complex and you had to grow. You had to make new decisions as a leader. You had to get out of your comfort zone. You had to learn how to lead people other than yourself. You had to learn stuff about finance. You had to learn stuff about QuickBooks and softwares and Facebook ads, right? You maybe had to work a little bit more. Your role looked differently, okay? So 20K wasn't all bubbles and rainbows. So there are these stair steppers in business, right? 30K looks different. 50K a month looks different. And the goal always looks super shiny. But to get to that goal, it's a crap ton of hard work every single time. There's no way to get around it. It's action. And it's spending the money on Facebook ads so I can acquire the clients. Well, guess what? Putting thousands of dollars on a credit card every month takes courage, takes me believing in that next version of myself as a business owner, takes me seeing myself at 50K a month, 100K a month, running $1 million business. And if I can't see myself as already there or worthy of that, or trust myself enough to take the action that I need to take, then I'm never going to take that action in the first place. I'm just going to stay in my comfort zone, keep doing organic marketing, keep doing everything one-on-one, and I'm never going to grow. And is that business okay? Yeah. But that is the equivalent of staying top 15 the rest of your life and never jumping out of the boat and never saying, let's see if we can get to the next level. Let's see if we can get to top 10. What would top 10 feel like? What would top 5 feel like? What would winning feel like? Okay. So I'm not telling you to do anything that I have not done in my own life. And every time I have to grow, every time I have to adopt a new identity to get to the next level, every time I have to hire people around me that have already been where I want to go, that can tell me I'm not crazy, I'm in the right place, I'm doing the right thing, I got this, right? And then I have to take the action. My husband and I just re-upped for the year with our mentor. We were with him in Florida now 2 weeks ago. And we made the decision first and foremost to work with him. I think I said this last week. During the week we found out about cancer. Because I'll never forget, he was the first person outside of family that we told that we were pregnant. And on our strategy call, I remember saying, I'm believing we're pregnant right now. We don't know yet, but I'm believing that we're pregnant right now. And like 2 weeks later, we found out. And Landon and I paid in full. We did not have the money. We put it on a credit card. And we said, but we believe that this is going to position us in the best position for our future family and to provide the freedom for me that we wanted, to provide our future dream home and our dream businesses, all the things, right? And was everything 100% sure? No, nothing is ever 100% sure. Literally nothing, you guys. Nothing. Nothing in life is 100% sure other than Jesus died on the cross for your sins, and if you accept him into your heart and confess with your mouth, you're going to heaven. That is the sure thing. Other than that, nothing is sure. Okay? So what you can do is start prepping now. Put the resources, the people, and take the actions that you need to take to give yourself the absolute best chance that this would be possible for you. And make a decision today that even before you know the result, you decide the result with the beliefs that you believe and the actions that you take. And I promise, if you adopt this unlimited, abundant mindset rather than a fixed mindset that says, I have to control everything, I have to know everything, I can only do things if I know the result. I have to live in my comfort zone. Like, congratulations, you've just bought a world-class ticket to being an average person. You just have. Like, you have. And maybe that's fine for you. Maybe you just want to get top 15 the rest of your life, but that sucks. That sounds like a crappy existence. That sounds like a lot of money to pay for like no payoff and no notoriety. So like, let's not do that. Like, how about we don't do that? How about we position ourselves to win? Because winning is fun. Winning is like super fun. And then you get to be in the position to deliver the impact on the world that you want to change the lives that you want to change. Like, get yourself in a position to do that because it's fun and open doors that no man can shut. So fun. So awesome. Okay? So start prepping. Doesn't have to be crazy, but the best time to do something is always now. Like, always? Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Anything less than obedience is disobedience. Like, when God tells you to do something, it's now. God wasn't like, in the future, Abraham, I would like you to sacrifice your son. He was like, bro, you know that trip you're going on today? Bring your son. Go. And Abraham was like, where's the lamb? He's like, yeah, your son. And Abraham said, God will provide. God will provide. Leaders are able to see the big picture. They're able to see beyond the present emotion or fear that they might be feeling. And they're able to make decisions from their convictions. They're able to make decisions from the conviction of who they will be 3, 6, 12 months from now as a result of making big girl, big boy decisions. And that's how vision works. That's how winning works. You make a decision that you are already there before you're there. And then all of your actions align with that belief. That's how you win. And guys, when you can learn to do this, here's the other thing. I'm going to get spiritual for you in closing. This is one of the longest podcasts I've done in a while because I don't want to have this conversation again in a year. I don't want you to come to me and be like, I've been following your podcast for 5 years, which is some of you. And like, I love that for you. But what are you waiting for? Like, if you've listened to 250 episodes of our podcast, like, this is what you get. What's on the other side of working with you? It's this. It's more of this. It is this on fire times 15 with amazing coursework and structure and all these things. Right? But like, what are you waiting for? Like, genuinely, that's my question. Are you waiting for a chicken to fall out of the sky to tell you that this is your season? This is my year. I'm waiting for the Lord to really confirm. No, God's not going to come down from heaven and tell you it's your time to win Miss Tennessee. He actually is doing other things. And that's not his job. In the same way that he said, go ye into all the world, preach the gospel, heal the sick, cast out demons, blind eyes open. He gave us the Holy Spirit. Jesus even was like, peace out. I got to go. Got an appointment with my Father, right seat of the throne. But I'm going to give you the Holy Spirit. He's going to live inside of you, and you're going to do greater works than even I did. Heal the sick, cast out demons, do these different things, okay? Does everybody take Jesus up on that opportunity? No. And they walk around sick, broke, emotionally distraught with these burdens that they don't have to carry, but they refuse to take the action that they need to take to get free from these things. It sucks. That has nothing to do with God's will for you. That has everything to do with stop it, get your butt in gear, do the things that you need to do to get free because Jesus already provided it for you. He's not going to die on the cross again. He's actually not, and he doesn't need to. Okay? He's not going to send an angel down from heaven to speak to you in your sleep and be like, Jessica, Sarah, whatever. Okay? He's not going to be like, it is your time to be Miss Minnesota. That's not happening. It's literally not happening. Okay? So we have to start taking radical accountability for our future. And as women, sometimes that's hard because we love to gab. We love to like share with our friends. We love to get validation for things. Can I please have permission to tell you the people that win the most? They don't do that. They don't do that. I don't ask 17 people before I make a business decision, especially if they don't have the results that I'm looking for. If I'm hiring a mentor, will I do my research, do a vibe check, make sure he's who he says he is? Absolutely. I followed Brandon for like 6 months before I made that decision, right? But when I was on the phone call and he's like, cool, ready to get started? My husband and I were like, yep, ready. Because I know that when I pay with my time, talent, or treasure, that is the medium of exchange here on earth. It forces me to care. It forces me to level up. It forces me to become that new version of myself. I need it to be hard. I need there to be consequence, because otherwise I'm just going to keep doing the same thing. I was at $15K a month, you guys, for like 5 years. Like, that's embarrassing. Some of you are like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Well, it wasn't all profit. I had expenses. I was paying myself less than a teacher's salary for like the first 5 years of my business. Actually, really until like last year when I was like, I should probably pay myself more. This is kind of dumb, right? Because I didn't do anything to force myself to change. I was single, didn't have a ton of expenses to live, so I was just kind of comfortable. But when I made a decision that I really wanted to go to the next level, that I wanted to build a 7-figure business, I felt called to help more people. I had to believe that it was possible for me. And that took some work. It took hiring the right people, to hiring the right mentor, and getting around other like-minded people that I saw doing great things. Like, I'm looking right now at my Slack channel. There's a whole wins list from my mentor. And every single day, other business owners are posting wins. Hey, I made this sale. I did this thing. I helped this person. And it inspires me. That biofeedback makes me want to work harder, even at 37 weeks pregnant, where I could have a baby any moment, from now, right? It gets me out of bed every day. It helps me show up well for my clients and want to give my all, because my vision and my mission for why I'm doing what I'm doing is too important to do it halfway. It's too important. You're too important. Every client that we onboard, I take very seriously. It's why I double interview them before we let them into the academy. You're too important. You're way too important. Okay? So I really want to encourage you to take ownership, extreme ownership for your dreams this year. Extreme ownership. And if that's with us, awesome. If it's not and it's somewhere else, super cool. Just make a decision. Do something different this year. Quit externalizing and allowing other people to make decisions for your future when it's your goal and your dream. Well, this person, my mom doesn't really think I should do it. Okay. If your mom being not supportive of you doing a pageant is going to cause you to not do what you need to do to win the pageant, then you don't really want it. It's time to grow up. If God has put a desire in your heart, again, back to nursing. What if you were supposed to be the best doctor, the best nurse in the world that finds the cure for cancer? And it 100% is your plan. It 100% is what you're supposed to do. But no one in your family had ever gone to medical school. No one in your family had ever gone through college and had experienced student loans, which scared them because it's in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. And no one in your family had ever gone to 10 years of school. All these things. You were the first. You were the trailblazer. Congrats. And because they told you, well, I just really think you should think about taking out that much of a loan because $200,000 is a lot of money. So you never applied to the university where you would have graduated top of your class, pre-med, applied for the scholarship that got you a half ride, and then that got you into medical school, who knows, maybe debt-free, or led you to a pageant to where you won a bunch of scholarship, and then you went to med school where you crushed it, and then you went to your residency where you crushed it, and even if you were $500,000 in student debt by the end of your residency, you make it back within 2 to 3 years, because now you're making $500K a year, changing lives as a doctor. And in your research, in your 4th year of residency, you find the cure for cancer. Who knows? If you would have listened to your family who said, don't do that, that's scary. We don't do things like that in our family. It's too soon. That's too risky. Use wisdom. That's a heck of a lot. It's millions of lives that you were always supposed to change, but you said no to your own destiny. And that sucks. So today's the day. Today's the day. Get excited about your dream. Get excited about the potential that this can be for you. And make a decision that everything in life happens through you and for you rather than to you. Nothing happens to you. Everything is flexible. Everything is figure-outable. Everything is, figure-outable. And if I don't know today, I'm just going to keep asking questions and taking action until I figure it out, okay? I don't have enough sponsors. Okay, go get some. Invest in a program that teaches you how to get them and then do the work. Lana, I'm scared. Okay, how are you going to become unscared? Doing nothing? No. Put yourself in a community with someone who has the faith and the knowledge to know how to do that. Rub elbows with me, who's not afraid of any of that stuff. Rub elbows with my coaches, my community, who's taking action. See other ladies that, oh, look, I got a $2,000 sponsorship this week. What do you think that's going to do for your brain? You're going to be like, maybe I could start with $500. Yeah, maybe. Do something. Do something. The way to get certainty is to take action. You got to get uncomfortable. Your dreams, the big ones, like, what do you think you're going to do? Walk in and just be like, someone give me a crown. No, you're going to have to work for it. That's what makes it worth it. That's what makes it fun. When you actually win and you know that you did everything that it took to get there, that's what makes it fun, y'all. You're like, I did this because I grew and I took a risk on myself and this happened. So do whatever you need to do today to win. Okay? If you're ready to work with us, we may not even have spots by the time this comes out because I don't remember what week this is coming out. But before baby girl comes, we are taking 20 people on to the academy in July. At the time of this recording, I think we have 11 spots left, but that is not going to be the same number by the time that you listen to this. So have fun with that. Click the link below to book a discovery call. Make sure that you are in our free pageant course. And if not, we'll put you on a wait list for whenever I decide to open up the academy again, which could be a long time because I'm going to hang out with my baby. So thanks so much, you guys, for being a part of our amazing podcast community. Share this with a friend that needs to hear this today. I would really appreciate that. Share this with a friend that needs to be motivated and kind of like poked, pushed in the bootay a little bit, but also that you want to see win. Like, share this with a friend that you want to see go to the next level and really finally do what they need to do for themselves because you love them. All right, I'll see y'all next week.